Right, we mo bi akwa about the about sports arena so bra so say trans na fe ye di nkomo na bibia ko ye ndra utumi say yes amanfo bet boy papa ndra listen now us na say
Ding na for us yeah
for us pa rade wo de 1000 to so anyezo ndra isane chama wo de na mo
drive Florentina na say median. Florentina win or draw na. Or the coach.
Me Bodo Glimt na say median.
no za sake de wa children ze
Bodo Glimt part Bodo Glimt to me etra home as a team ni share na yi ni free mu o cup game. Now to me say ara hopa. Ti card by one but Vincent the boy nti utwa tre na anya den a wodi bi eneso ye behwe na afi ye de bi aba na afi wodi na afi bibia so akoye hye no se ndra match se course ndra anwade pa because me no ka say team a ye frɛ no Venezia now on say ukọ the league table na omoda 17th position with 29 points omo pia Lecce ene Empoli atu a relegation zone Monza there now it is confirmed so omko now aka two games Venezia and Cagliari ebebo na fi Venezia and Juventus abo otimu se omo kono enye nkolako na Lecce so ni Torino bebo Lecce betra fi no ni Torino abo na Lazio so ni Lecce ade abo tize so munyi no last game no enya asem keto am hwe Empoli so Empoli any Monza na ekwa akobo na Empoli ne Verona abo so we can discuss the relegation battle between Empoli I think that even Parma kra nye safe saka two matches Parma nye safe Verona nye safe Cagliari enye safe but metuma ka say two matches no Cagliari utumi enya a pointer or 34 possible so betumi I can because only way or match only Venezia no eden e match so assuming say only Venezia say obo draw kra na the gap between only Venezia no remain then last game no only Empoli Napoli ti games no Cagliari Verona Parma Venezia Lecce Empoli obia enye se Florentina ndra nanka owini ya obeko 61 62 points that is obe replace Bologna no aye right behind AS Roma no I was 63 that is the last European spot and so omuko lusu at the Venezia all fighting relegation you be discuss hono Atlanta actually bubu kwa ye friend no AS Roma ultimu say omako a long run without a defeat the last time omulusu game ewo Syria no Como na sheni 2 that is 2024 December 15th December 2024 and a Como eshomu 2 since then no omachi Parma share no 5 omone similar about 1-1 omachi Lazio share 2-0 omone Bologna about 2-2 omachi Genoa share 3-1 omone Udinese omukoshe Udinese 2-1 omone Napoli bo 1-1 okoshe Venezia 1-0 then okoshe Parma 1-0 then one Monza oshe Monza 4 oshe Como 2-1 and oshe Empoli 1-0 and obechi Cagliari share 1 oshe Lecce 1 one Juventus ball 1-1 and one Lazio ball 1-1 oshe Verona 1-0 oshe Inter 1-0 oshe Fiorentina 1-0 and Atlanta atiano ti oshe the long run we are finally AS Roma has been beaten now Endra Ghana need this year Suleiman Ibrahim and a bomb from long range panyai and a shower or to me a breaky AS Roma so omo really run. These are games Endra yeah the etoja they be di ho komo. Endra under 20 me no ka say Nigeria a qualify for World Cup. Egypt a qualify for World Cup. Morocco a qualify for World Cup. And bubuko e friend no. South Africa and so under 24 no qualify for World Cup. DR Congo, Sierra Leone, Ghana, Senegal, MSA out. You better Ghana in perspective. What went wrong again? Ye game no bia, and so then eko ye honum. Now championship playoffs no. Sheffield United and Bristol almost more 3, and then me know say Sunderland so ne Coventry so no at the very that so na fi bibia so etumi ako ye honum. Show no stream live Street is watching and I say ABN Radio 1 so now call TikToker you try go honoma and also sports.arena.news TikTok over Telegram account now Sports Arena SPORTS no what in term ARENA Arena Obomonia eko kopiemu ewo online na MyBet online radio MyBet online radio honum ya be hwe na afi bibia so no etumi akoyi abeya fo mama kwa ba
yeah list to
bibia e kama there
bibia e kama
na yan hwe MyBet education kakra na afi ewi ya be hwe transfer news ni kakra na ya be hwe Endra games etumi etoja.
Yes, I think you run MyBet education more. And MyBet for say omo chain game for abaso omo friend Jet X. Na Jet X no o share senior display no any design BBAT FA papa. Nti se wutie mi a it say aviator but Jet X no winning rate no sure ye. Nti kwan bia so no budget X na obetimi afiska MYBET.AFRICA. Nti wutie mi a register sisi a na call virtuals ne casino. Na try a new game omo dia ba friend Jet X show ne course na wonso betimi na wo bo ansa na show ne be ko ne wie no wonso etimi nya ska kakra bia to boto mi so on register MyBET.AFRICA ko www.mybet.africa top right corner obehu icon bia circle ni green mia so obehu login any registration mia registration so first step o mobile money number na o phone number no abo ashim the next step o username betimi use nickname betimi use edin bia opɛ our person obosho are unique compared to a DMBL platform this to bet me the number account say be a Kwame 10 and a Kofi 7 now unique next one your password what password new year my best for best send verification number verification ni shame ubo you no account na verify na co virtuals ni casino na try Jet X no try you are one customer in who comment section send your game no etie ema
right. Yeah, sure not the games are to Jakakra. Nafi. I see Madrid still I bore Dean Hossin, but the reporter and I mentioned that the engine in this Como and so Ajatum say Fabregas called by a Leverkusen. Now I be share a year Ancelotti obviously I joining a Brazil. And Alonso Ejono. So you share again after you share this coaching changes in there.
Yes, I think in the championship playoff of course between Sheffield and Bristol City. In Bekan I said this fixture be on an average ubenya over 2.5 game na in draw kwan bia so betimi above over 2.5 amount na game we me bo so Sheffield na adinta make us and said the performance at Sheffield United adanidi ewo that is the championship na no edin ye with Oma ball omo making sure they are one of the teams last 3 seasons no more Premier League no inya mentimi anko yo mutimi the core championship Oma brand they've been able to qualify for the playoff finals against Bristol City. No be him say match Sheffield United a kwan bias no betimi winning ahead of Bristol City. Any or train between Coventry any way team on me obebo say who can they join in the final? Coventry ni Sunderland. Say who can they join in the final? Any eba be crucial game. But from the aspect of the game, no. Getting that early goal or something and they important for them because winning 3-0 away na ubo home Now at least in the first half, if you are to get an early goal and now say ultimate draw in the first half, it stretches the game for the opponent. Getting that goal in the first half is set you so well. Like who say in the second half, ultimately the first few minutes, the first 15 minutes or something, be second goal now for the BBI then. Ato din I fans or mobile park oni eniji na almost say they will go into that playoff final at Wembley. No meet me qualify for the Premier League. Coming into the Premier League for this championship clubs here, especially financials. So they are looking out. Say between Sunderland and a Coventry game on Bebo, which ended in a 2-1. They will see who would qualify and why no in the final. Yeah, Italian Serie A game course Sundra between Venezia and a team of friend Fiorentina. I think Oshe Obi share odds ni free maybe bookmakers and MYBET.AFRICA platform. They are now team say odds ni favorite team. I friend Venezia. No odds ni 2.83 against Fiorentina. They na 2.84. Nana Obi share side we are wadrin be also Omamo based on BB, but mostly say bookmakers nema odds here. Na eche nyama bibri. At the internal makers say Venezia no here win to move out of the relegation zone. Nani 2 games are can utimi miani need to a draw or a winner. Utimi secure that spot in the Syria for next season. Intina bibia eba kiti my friend Venezia, but on record no na Fiorentina a team bia onuzu here that spot. So utimi the European tournament ni mu bia that was a winner so utimi peke. Intindra na game ni the M1 year. O share the lineup of both teams at the bar into the game. Ushe Fiorentina lineup. I was a bit surprised. Kaka, because not be a players bit say more skin more so bit me ejine mabobia mom, but in dry in home they went with a full different lineup, a full different formation setup and then 1 year because Fiorentina this season has gone with maybe a 4-2-3-1 formation, but in dry we saw a 3-4-2-1 formation. It allowed the likes of Dodo and they got in to also get more attacking threats and draw into me and boy team. No. With that result, they see Venezia performance, especially to secure themselves in the league near the Bakwa Ebebo. Me can say between these two clubs, Fiorentina and team in the second half and rotation goes. Into this game, I was looking at Fiorentina win or draw 1.5, but Venezia to me share the 2 early goals are a set up game ni mom. Now they were a bit defensively solid. Fiorentina team benya that crucial equalizer and still Inyame to me and Koyinti and they Venezia and Paibuna and they said they are out of that relegation battle. They'll be looking out them before the end of the season. They wouldn't return to Serie B, but they'll be in the Serie A. I bet me about my performance na kuni Indra with AS Roma and Atlanta. Make I say a difficult game. And AS Roma, one thing at my stadium this season, anytime AS Roma, so Obo Homa, they are very solid. So Obo away are one thing they make can say in their last 5 away games, they move 3 or make keep it clean sheet, scoring 1-0. And against a team like Atlanta, no qualify for the Champions League already. No, the Atlanta just here a point to be able to secure that Champions League spot. And now Roma, with a win for Roma, would have putting them on the 4th position on the league log. It was a crucial game for AS Roma to at least get a draw or to make sure say maximum 3 points no beat me afa. It was a close game. Roma started game ni ye, but in the 9th minute, look man, etiminya that early goal Emma team Efreno Atlanta AS Roma ebeti in the first half. In the second half, the game was like a more like a tennis type of game. Every team was giving pressure to make sure say they get that crucial goal a bit me abwa. But in the 68th minute, and again in your brand Efreno Sulemana Ebemu. Obemu, the first touch was a crucial chance. It deflected into a corner, and the second chance, and with me share that crucial goal. Emma Atlanta, and they've secured that Champions League spot. And next season, you be Atlanta, and Gasperini, and Brandt, and in the Champions League. Now, the only spot left for Italian Serie A one spot, which is being occupied by Juventus this year. And now that spot is being fought between Juventus, Lazio, AS Roma, Bologna, and also AC Milan. In TNA, but the last 2 fixtures are in the Serie A. Obi obey me a winning in 2 matches. Not there will be a lose for Juventus in any of their games, no, they can take Juventus out of that Champions League spot. They'll be in 3 seasons. Juventus may miss out of the Champions League. But I think the Serie A has been very interesting. Oshe from the 3rd position to the 1st position, mathematically there is a chance Anka Atlanta beat me occupy that is even the 2nd position. Now Atlanta born Humodina, it got some time they were even in the title race. Now they're just a 1 point between them and Napoli and Inter, but they lost out some of the games at Inter Milan Bomba. See, and they've secured that Champions League spot, and mathematically they can get that 2nd spot. Say Inter in his next 2 games, so Inter Milan with a 6 points win, they can get 77 with Inter Milan with goal difference. The back will beat me a bomb. I'm on my party, my friend Inter Milan.
Okay. Well, Vincent,
Yeah, Listo, I think that Enra Sobekaya, especially in that game, Fiorentina game, no. I wasn't surprised that Enra Venezia 4 goal because Enra me catch you say Ushe standings now here with Venezia there. And no another 18th position. And he's able to win with 26 points. With me winning this game, with same number of matches played. And also mentioned that Ushe Fiorentina, they're also fighting for the spot either for Europa League and our Champions League spot. So, but then they don't have nothing at stake because even if Enra someone win a crowd, they will still be with the same goals and the same point with Tim and Eddie AS Roma. At that point, if Roma had even gotten a pointer, and Kalmunim be on Mesa Aquacoda. So Enra, Mitchell said, if Upitima, the near Brigidi pa, it should be Tim and a Venezia. In fact, they needed that when no check Fiorentina next 2 games. They are playing Bologna, Bologna at home, and also make our way to Udine, and also be another game. In fact, Bologna and Udine, these 2 teams no Kakobon. They are all teams one Bologna is also fighting for the top spot and a team at the Genoa Udinese. Oh no, he's not fighting for anything. Maybe other be any okay. But and now my catcher was say with Lazio, AS Roma, and Bologna and AC Milan ahead of Fiorentina, it's going to be very difficult for them at this. The die embers of the league, because which a key Roma form or is quite unfortunate. Say, no more unbeaten record in over almost 19 games. And so it's me about we to say Aquaria rehearsal, but then it was a emphatic victory for a opponent. But I think that with Fiorentina dropping points, their next game against Bologna native and the Udinese is going to be very difficult. In fact, they might find it very difficult to score this Bologna team. They are playing in Florence, and they are obviously the favorites to win this game. But I think that Fiorentina, even if I want to take a point, it will be very difficult for them to beat Lazio and Roma and even AC Milan at this point. At this point of the season. And then another game, crunchy. To be very honest, I was happy for Sule scoring because this season he's been struggling with injuries. And since Ofri Cagliari ever joined Gianpiero Gasperini where say the 21-year-old Ghanaian chap near player. He's part of Atlanta for more long-term plans. So, to hold their midfield. To check out this season, especially in the Champions League when he recovered from the first injury. He was always on the bench whenever they play Liverpool and all those teams. But then, also called injury when Oba the national team, and he has been struggling. But then the most important thing is for him to return from injury, coming from the bench in the 70th minute, the most crucial goal. Atlanta for secure the Champions League spot in next season's campaign, and to also break AS Roma for 19 games unbeaten. This Ewo Bergamo is something that how he was happy. Check the post on Atlanta for admin. This is a boy. They believe that he has so much potential. From next season, Kubiano, he will anchor the midfield for your game. Piero Gasperini team. The the outcome and Nigeria na coach and Naji. So I'm happy say Sulemana Ebenyasa are going to be very honest, 2 African brothers and I take here Atlanta to the Champions League football. Today baby Atlanta are listed with 71 points. If they lose all their last games it means they almost lose last 2 games they will still secure a spot in the Champions League. So right now the last spot now by Juventus, Lazio and AS Roma. And maybe a bit so the Bologna and AC Milan account. Because the reason why I missing the AC account is Listo. It is 6 points to grab in the next 2 games. Right now Juventus will 64. If they manage to get 3 points, it means that AC Milan is out of the race. Right now, Bologna was 62. If he's able to win the last 2 games, it means that Onosubeko 69. Obeko 68, sorry. Which means that if 69, and it still means that they also have a chance to also qualify. That is if Juventus is going to drop a point. It means that they have a chance almost to qualify at the the competition. Lazio, on the other hand, say as a stance, Juventus, Listo. In the next 2 games, he will play Udinese, which is a game I believe that they will secure that 3 points or Allianz Stadium Hall very quickly in their next game. And the last game, a very big game, especially when they are playing Venezia. Because that very last game will be a gamer. Venezia, Listo, Ebabe win or you go to relegation. And it's one gamer, their next game is against Cagliari. Right now, baby, Cagliari that on relegation, and Shadam Mbon who be as a bad Cagliari with 33 points. If Cagliari lose in the next 2 games, which they will play against Venezia and Napoli, if they lose to Venezia and they also lose to Napoli, Listo. So Lecce, it's been winning the 2 games. Right now, Lecce with 28 points. On they are better the 18th position. If they are able to win their next 2 games, Lecce for the 34 points. They will come 34 points, which means that if Cagliari lose to Venezia and the last game against Napoli, which is going to be very hard for them to win because Napoli will need to win that to secure the Scudetto. Right now, Cagliari is Kika. Verona, Listo, also 33 points. The next game against Como and Empoli. And Empoli, so baby, also done. He also has same points with Lecce. And just 1 point behind Venezia and a few points behind Verona number 1. So Listo, to be very honest, Open Liga at this stage, at this point in time, Open League, there are several teams that they need a point, especially Juve, Lazio, AS Roma, Bologna, AC Milan, Fiorentina. These teams, they are fighting for something. Whoever or be about dropping points. I can't say the Premier League. They no more play the top 5 spots. Juventus, Lazio, Roma. Or be about dropping points. Be at this stage. Not Jordan achieve a baby in Ibiano. There's going to be an overtaking in that regard. Right now, we Como, Torino, and Udinese, and then maybe Genoa. These 4 teams, avoid them. Maybe Como the Obo home there. Fabregas team, they win games, but Omokran Police too. Ochake last 5-6 games, winning especially 7 games they are unbeaten. So with them, makes me have a chance say, especially when they are playing at home. But the team no, it should be very concerned, especially Omoni Verona game. They say it's going to be a game a mobile heading. Omoni Verona baby Verona dano and Shada Nyesa, but handicap 3 or 2 for Verona likely for you. But apart from these 4 teams, Cagliari, Verona, Parma, these are teams at least if they are able to get 3 points, they are remaining out of the 2 games. If they are able to win 1 out of the 2, it means that relegation or safe. But right now, Ababaye, Verona, Parma, Venezia, Lecce, and Empoli. These are the 2 teams. People shouldn't forget. Say in your 2 teams, will be other 17th, and will be other 18th in your same pointer. There will be a playoff. They will use goals into that 17. Now that 18. So see if Venezia and Lecce ends up having the same pointer, they are going to play a playoff match, one game. Yeah, but the no, a year ahead, no, in terms of the league order, the goes are taking over Obino on never Kokobo match on the home. Then whoever wins the game will also avoid relegation, same as Napoli and Inter Milan. Then right now 1 point Spain decided from Napoli and Inter Milan. If these two teams list to or more end up with the same pointer, wow, who goes ahead of the other one, no, who go home, then the other person, no, go difference nature than get as much as very good like you know on we know. So is to the Scudetto need here the last two games very dicey. So if people saw Atlanta securing what people think say nay unthinkable, especially scoring Roma, me that game, so I know I'm betting and because draw over 2.5 because I knew that there was going to be goals in this game, especially Roma games, and whenever Atlanta share teams that they are very hard to beat, goes in time back. But looking at this game, one of these teams, I knew that either say be a goalless draw, and I say over 2.5 above. So a draw over 2.5. By if not for Sulemana, a year Gua winning goal in the 76th minute, game no A and D in a scoring draw, and so I think that Venezia winning against Fiorentina is something that and I'm not surprised. Atlanta also winning, I'm not surprised. Right now, Obi home biano, the Nibebre. Obi home bia, especially in the Scudetto list or Obi anyway. So I think that the no results is something that is going to be a reflection of all the remaining games, especially across the top 5 leagues Europe.
All right. Yeah, Real Madrid news. Nene Alonso, how will everything pound out? Then Dean Hudson and so move. Fabrizio announces a move to Real Madrid. Like and boy no, himself Real Madrid, ni Chelsea, ni Liverpool. Obviously, Obi choose Real Madrid. How this news ni Alonso bano but mommy and Shem Kakrana.
Yes, I think so. Xabi Alonso going to Real Madrid and they are the backwa na Ubiashe say it would surely happen. But nani na jina quite being a bit me then AC or when would this thing happen? Because ni himself a baby no would see Real Madrid calling for him after that wonderful performance or that Nedima team a friend with Bayern Leverkusen. And yet in Siwa, but there was also his contract with Bayern Leverkusen. No. Now it will say if there is any call from a club like Real Madrid, he will be allowed to go. Who say when there was a chance, now there hasn't been any difficult conversation or negotiation between those two clubs. But in your mate me ako ye nay wait me either it may remu and Real Madrid officially on be announcing the present as their new head coach. He was starting a coaching career that is in June 2019. El Real Sociedad B and now Otimi Boa or ma Copem June that is 2022 into October mo no the bar Leverkusen in 2022 and now that time no more akaka no more battle relegation no be so team no eboa more avoid the relegation. Then the next season Otimi year no Otimi J that is the Bundesliga for the first time echo unbeaten as a mom into her coaching career. He has been one coacher in Yama Etimi Akoyi man, especially moving to Leverkusen, trying the 3-4-2-1 system. It fits the players are not who ye you say clubs be the Leverkusen players based on the way Otimi put up team now and Nyama Etimi then Akoyi mom. Going into Real Madrid, there is the pros and cons of him going to Real Madrid. The positive side of him going to Real Madrid is that he's one coach. So you kind of young coaches are buying into the game. They've set Fabregas, the Vicent companies, any the likes of Enzo Maresca, any others now Arteta mo. He has been able to set the bar so high for himself, going unbeaten, winning the Bundesliga ahead of Bayern Munich. The last time coach beat me, the Bundesliga Timmy G, and also set a good standard for himself. Johan Klopp time and all Dortmund. It's me born who ordinate me J title if we buy mini kings. Mene Xabi Alonso it's me set the same record. So when the Bundesliga and the Bayern Leverkusen record or coachy Kopim season ben. Remember I said Bepim in the last we were coaching 139 matches. We winning 98 and we about draw 31 and we lose just 19. Last year, he said the whole of last season, Oko unbeaten in the Bundesliga. He's one of the best coaches, and that is the positive side of he joining Real Madrid. So, Okuta this pedigree and being a legend in the books of Real Madrid. With me, I bought imagine 1 or 2 trophies. That is one thing I put you out there. But the negative side of, to me, the negative side of he joining the Real Madrid setup, they say he's joining a team at the moment. The team is unstable. The team is unstable. We've been hearing rumors up and down concerning even player contract. A player be say may renew my contract. There's some team discussing way, and there are now rumors even going on say with our classical Rodrigo Ekase on board based on Inyama Bakumi new Ekosu club, and these are things that are going into a new club and seeing news informations about a club you are trying to join. Adebakwa as a young manager and time boy. So going into this Real Madrid team, no. So when me and step in the ground, now when me and put things in place, when you look here, a baby at Selopotegi DNB within the first 2 months. Now you jaw kwaya moako, and you in Real Madrid they see that the same something similar happened during Zidane's era. Zidane free or call and Lopetegi behind the team, no. In the 2 months and Omujan kwaya. And it would be very bad for a coach with a pedigree and in Yama or building. So be joining this Real Madrid setup. Now within 2 months, club now imagine said there are a whole lot of confusion. They say and we've heard from reports from Real Madrid blog pages in Yama say there've been conversations about what he wants to do. And one thing I wasn't happy about say he brought up an idea of trying to get 1 or 2 players where they said the board are trying to throw it aside. Say if there are players inclusion, they have to take, let's say, a higher stake in trying to bring this particular players or not. And I don't know how true that is, but the rumors say also. And these are some of the things that it puts a coach off, especially when it comes to going into a new job. I know that the agreement. There's also rumors said there've been agreement between him and also the club official said the 3-4-2-1 system now ultimately perfecting year or Leverkusen. He'll try to use it. And he said there've been a whole lot of lineup suggestions on how he will play. I think he going to Real Madrid would help his career as a coach because of Real Madrid no to Savage season next season trying to make sure say they win the La Liga or even win the Champions League. It will boost his confidence, and with his age he can keep so long at this Real Madrid setup. But the other thing they say, how can he fit into this Real Madrid team with some of the players with some of the injuries but with some of the players also being in quotes aged, and also with some of the players they are looking to include in the setup, which I think says Xabi Alonso would be a coach for Real Madrid, but it will all depend on his first few months. Bet me a handle team. We don't know as of now. Say would he be given the chance to coach them during the FIFA Club World Cup or not? Say I know na rumors say if that would be good, meaning he would get something like a pre-season, which is more of an official tournament with them to be able to try his formation and the three back system, no, and see how things go. But to me, so it will be something. Say performance wise, and what he brings to his game, what he would make of this Real Madrid setup, I think he will be a good coach for them. But it will all depend on how these players are willing to play with or are willing to play for a coach like Xabi Alonso.
All right. Now, do you think with Dean Hudson way, said they are going to play the 3-back, and would that 3-back be successful? Is there a team in the Spanish league that plays this 3-back system? Then the midfield, because 4-3-4 is a likely option system. Yeah. So you have the 2 left backs who can play the left wing. That is Mendy and Garcia. Then the right back, obviously there is Trent Arnold,
and also we friends saying
Kavaha. Then about midfield, there are a lot of central midfielders there, and the 3 attackers.
Yes.
Does it mean that they will sacrifice a winger that is one of yeah, Rodrigo. There will be what do you call it? This Morocco guy, Brahim Diaz,
Yes.
and Adagula, because they will play the
double 10 rule.
the double 10 rule.
Yeah.
So it means one wing guy, and they will need a striker. If how a 4-3 will, you know. So let's look at the tactical dynamics or the player selection.
Okay, it is also Alonso 3-back system now. 3-back system about coach na formation dynamics are coach bia ubo a coach bebo a 3-back system, but it comes with a whole lot of dynamics. With Alonso 3-back system, no, the wing backs no are more of me say a left midfielder and a right midfielder than a right wing back and a left wing back. I didn't make us and say who say Oshe Bayern Leverkusen season no more unbeaten. Ubehu Grimaldo and Frimpong were contributing a lot to goals. Ubehu Grimaldo or double figures, maybe Frimpong and so or double figures, and that was one thing that it was helping the team thrive so well. Coming into this Real Madrid setup, no, I think as of now Real Madrid are available players to play a 3-back system. I didn't make us and say their team has a lot of players. They've had a chance to try maybe a 3-back system once in a while. Jude Bellingham has tried a 3-back system at England. The likes of Rudiger have tried a 3-back system at Chelsea. And Oshe Alaba tried a 3-back system at Bayern Munich. So these are players they've had a chance to play in that set of formation. Yenshe now he coming into the team. Say Alonso and episode setting up a 3-back system with this Real Madrid setup. How would be the possible players to be able to start in this 3-back system? I think in post Courtois will surely be their goalkeeper in this 3-back system. Now in the back three, Sisiano, Mami players are maybe they wouldn't be added. Mami players are they are available now. Then we'll look at the options if we can replace some of the players, it would also fit into the team. So with a 3-back system, on the right center back position, I think Carvajal can occupy that position. Coming back from an ACL injury, hearing him to be running up and down the pitch. And in himself, Carvajal is a very defensively solid player. Into Carvajal can occupy that right center back position. In the middle, and that same right center back position, the likes of Asensio into ebetimi about that same role. Then in the middle, that is the CCB position or the center back position. You can have Militao occupying that position, and we've seen Militao playing so well, especially say be almost starting ball in the free and also his aggressiveness in picking up the balls. In that role, you need somebody the person can read the game so well, and I think Militao would give you that presence to be able to read the game so well. On the left center back position, you have Rudiger playing there for Chelsea for 2 seasons under coach with friends and Thomas Tuchel, and Rudiger would love to play that particular position again. On that same position, you can get Alaba also playing the same position. In TNA, you get Rudiger and Alaba occupying that position. Asensio betimiaba boa Militao in that center back position and also betimiawe. And the right wing back or Senana can he place them as a right mid and a left mid. No, with a right mid would be Trent Alexander-Arnold. In himself officially he would be a Real Madrid player coming soon. I think that position will fit him so well, especially going forward and not thinking about his back defensively. And Alonso lineup mostly right midfielder in that right wing back position. They get to occupy middle spaces more. In Tinene, we'll see Trent Arnold coming in to help the midfield too, to make sure say Nyama betimi akoye won finfin. And also,
but you see ne wing backs and the money goes.
Yes.
So you would expect this wing backs ever be money goes. They will obviously occupy most of the time the far post. Yehu Grimaldo giving him goals. Yehu Frimpong money goals. So obviously, it's the midfield pen. Okay, yes, starting with the centre back. You say Courtois will be in both. The centre back pen. Mevan said the Hosen because he want to play from the back. And the Hosen can play from the back. So somebody like Rudiger knows this system. Obetimi abo left
right centre back or
and
left
left centre
yeah.
back. So in this case, Yemfano to a left centre back.
Yeah.
Then the horse will play.
That's the middle. That's the CCB.
Yeah, middle. Then Militao and I say Asensio.
But with me, I'll prefer Carvajal as the right centre back because of experience at Carvajal, and also coming back from an ACL. No, you wouldn't like him running up and down the pitch like that. Until Carvajal can play as a right centre back, then Alexander-Arnold will occupy that right wing back position.
So you have 2 centre backs on the bench. Eda Militao, a big boy.
That's what I'm saying.
So it will be very easy.
Horsing, no, it will depend on the style of play Alonso Pesobo.
Obviously, that boy in the shape of the reason why Chelsea pen he's a ball carrier. He can pass with both feet and very comfortable on the ball. And boss at the back system now. You need the person who play the CCB should be somebody in that way. It's Jonathan Tah and another boss when Leverkusen in the man. Now the horse, now it is clear say Alonso and Ma can you do Real Madrid better. So now that Wabaya priority the moment or fitting to that conversation. So he will start. Obviously he will start. You cannot put Eda Militao on the bench if he is fit. What I say. So maybe Carvajal they will gradually introduce him, and maybe if there is an injury, but in this case I'm talking about if everybody is fit, who is going to start at the 3 defense wall?
Okay, so if everybody is fitter, I'm explaining from the start. Alonso's the wing backs now. I don't think Carvajal can play as a wing back for him.
So
because more goals, more assists from them.
So obviously
Alexander will start. And with the experience at Carvajal, say if next season, say if Modric is not around or Modric is around, that the next captain for the club ever Carvajal. And now no, he has to, if he is to start, I will start him as the right centre back, Rudiger as the left centre back, and also Eda Militao through the CCB. Depending on say Horsin Beba, meaning say now they can pair Horsin with Militao. There is also Alaba. And if you are playing a 3-back system, at least you need 6 centre backs in your team.
Yeah.
To be able to prove stability into every centre back role ebema or 2 into see and say Carvajal that is the right centre back only Asensio will occupy the right centre back. The CCB position will be occupied by Militao any Horsin if he is to sign. Then the left centre back will be occupied by Rudiger any Alaba. So now they will be able to have 6 centre backs available for this particular role. And then here the left wing back position, that is where I think as of now Real Madrid have a problem, especially with the style Alonso Pesobono. I didn't make us say if you look at Mendy, any we are friends and Garcia, they are not the profile of player Alonso here on the team. So I wouldn't be surprised say Real Madrid will surely go and sign Cockers from Bournemouth to be able to fit into that left wing back position, because he has a lot to go, and say players are they available to play that particular role, which will come at a cheaper price. There are 2, Robinson of Fulham on Uzbek Maboda Roni, and also Cockers of Bournemouth Uzbek Mabosa Roni. Maybe Real Madrid will be looking at other options, but these are the 2 with Garcia and Mendy. I don't see them being so strong to start at the right wing back position. Alonso can also try playing the likes of maybe Vinicius Junior from his left wing back position. I didn't make us say with his formation mostly, if they are attacking, and that if you want Grimaldo Obebo any other player with that position, they attack and they sit back as a four defensive pairing. Into bones Frimpong Bekun anymore. Then this guy no for Southampton in the core, I think Teller. Teller Ebebo the left wing back position, then you sit more, but he wouldn't join attack. I wouldn't be surprised if you beat me about Vinicius as a left wing or a left midfielder in the game. Then now maybe in their games of about Vinicius as the left wing back.
No, you wouldn't see what I want when is You are looking at the hypothesis. I'm asking you, sir. Now everybody is fit. The lineup, 3 center pen. What's it? Rudiger,
Militao
Cavaya.
Yeah.
Wing backs near Manamo.
Alexander Arnold, and on the other side, Mendy for the meantime.
Mendy, okay. And now midfield.
Midfield pairing, I'll see Camavinga and Valverde. They complement each other. Camavinga beats me, I'll drop your beji ball. Valverde would add that box to box to the game. Then the double 10.
Yeah.
Double 10 would be, we can see Jude Bellingham and Vinicius Junior, or Ada Goulet and Vinicius Junior.
No. It was a year back. There no mama can over.
In fact, I'll see Jude Bellingham and Vinicius Junior, and Kylian Mbappe occupying that 10 role.
Okay.
Alonso strikers mostly they are not like kind of saying they are not box, like they are not like strikers are they should always be in the box. And nothing the likes of Boniface, they drop in and play as a false 9 to give spaces for whoever is saying Florian Wirtz to also get the chance. Into they attack with more of like 5 players and they defend with 5. And nothing that make us say with Camavinga and Valverde would be 2 players that will complement in the middle so well. There will be games that we can see the likes of Tchouaméni also coming in, but this would be something I'll see. And the striker, I think Kylian Mbappe will occupy that position. He will have the chance to drift in between to also make sure say Nyamareko. But I'm looking at Real Madrid adding a centre back and also a left wing back in this transfer windows.
What, a centre back?
No, because they would add a centre back and also a left wing back.
Centre back beam. Asensio.
Yes, if they are to bring in Horsina, now they will add a centre back in Horsin based on say Militao your friend is saying Militao and Alaba. Now injury wise they can't put their trust in them and they don't want to repeat the same idea see this season with Cavani any 1 or 2 players. So they will surely add a centre back and also a left wing back in their team.
Short way or Fabregas joining Leverkusen, is it not too early? At least konya another season BM or Como Nanka or they are building on this opportunity. Will it help in the development as a young coach?
Yes, as a coach, but I think say that was up as at yesterday. I made 2 reports. We say we Como are still planning next season with him. Into me, say if the Leverkusen they would go through, but going to Leverkusen is a great part for with Fabregas. I didn't make us and say Xabi Alonso has set that pace well for him. Now Leverkusen fans they know that Fabregas coming in, he's also a student of the game. He understands the game so well. Any other Como team now, they would be happy to have him on their bench and also make sure say they would protect and support him every day throughout his career. And there's a good chance for him moving from Como to Bayern Leverkusen, because surely Bayern Leverkusen will be playing in the Champions League. Bayern Leverkusen would have that exposure in other competitions. With him, it's a good move. But so beside me say maybe how difficult the job would be. I don't think the job will be difficult for him because the Leverkusen fans have shown say they respect students of the game, players on my board game neither. As your Mababe Danny coach, who are the Mayama Xabi Alonso when things were going on bad, they were still in support of him. So they will give Fabregas that 100% support. And with Onons with Suya in MYBET, so Adio Como team here in recent times, he will do the same thing with your friend is saying we are friends and Bayern Leverkusen, and I think he can give company a fight for his money in next season's Bundesliga.
Okay.
Listo, I think that it drew this stage of the competition and there's a lot of transfers and coaches on the court, and you see there is one thing I hear too clear in this modern football business. I hear say if you want a coach, say if the coach is coming or on a system or approach he's coming to use, say Pep Guardiola the approach not so about replacing Jose Mourinho. The approach, the club transfer system and their strategy will definitely change and conquer the old one. So your teams they have a certain DNA of more football. But to watch Basa, coach you have Basa Biano. a certain type of football, that total football. No, however, you are going to set up a bit different. Your home Basa about 3-back system several times under Ronald Koeman, there was still total football on normal ball. So, however, you are going to play a bit different. But this is Xabi Alonso list of. I bought for a year Liverpool for several years. So I bought Bayern Munich, I bought Real Madrid. So he's also a player, a product of that Jose Mourinho. In terms of defense, he's also good at that. In terms of that total football, tiki-taka football, attacking, possessive-wise football. No, but into what share Bayern Leverkusen for now. Or more identity, you know, sometimes it's very hard to say a specific identity. Or more than say they play a possessive-oriented football. But they are attacking football. Oh, we use flanks in the moment. What share Leverkusen gamer? Whenever they are playing, apart from say more breaking counter, able counter attacking football, or more a lot of crossing game. Aside from that, they are a teamer. Whenever they are defending, they defend very well. But sometimes how they attack on the field, no. If almost share any team on who are very potent attacker, they concede a lot of goals. Into what check here, especially by Leverkusen under opinion there is Xabi Alonso. Omo table, omo games be a time both team to score. But you see, used to check how I set Xabi Alonso set it up. Or set it up with a 3-4-2-1 system. There's instances a thought about injuries are ultimately a 4-4-1-1 system, especially who how or this system against Bayern Munich in the Champions League playoffs this season. Bawasha, especially in the defense, no, he will get two players aggressive, another player also well composed on the ball, players who are good in ground duels, players who are good in area duels in that 3-match system. Right now, let's look at this Barca team. Real Madrid team. And then the Real Madrid hierarchy, no. I'm clear say Asensio having coming up from the ranks, steady under Eder Militao, and then Rudiger. No, they believe that he's one of the most players are aggressive wise. They are very good. They read the game very well. They can play progressive pass. You who that passer Asensio bought this season. Emma Rodrigo Modric go. So Asensio is part of our plans now. But the reason why they need Dean Hodgson is they will need that player to control the pace of the game now more. So having Dean Hodgson, one of the things, even in January transfer, the player has been linked with Real Madrid. And one thing is that Madrid wasn't ready to meet the requirements. That is the monetary aspect. So in terms of why I can say player and I edge closer to Chelsea because Chelsea issue priorities and when he's coming to play. In fact, at Bournemouth, he's playing ahead of Asensio in the Spain national team. And in fact, if every Spanish be a list or say if Chelsea a table 220,000, then Madrid a table 200 or even 190. Would discussion say if the performance no quite anymore, they'll reward him. Every Spanish player will choose Real Madrid over Chelsea, or especially in the Premier League, knowing for a fact that of late he's playing with Pau Kubasi, who is a Barcelona for centre back in the Spanish national team. So that Puyol and Gerard Piqué Ramos vibe will also get into his head. So right now, Madrid for at least apart from the Hodgson, they also have Ibrahim Konate. You also have William Saliba in star players. Now, even if they are able to sign in Hodgson, they will sign another player because they believe that Rudiger next 2 years will not be part of a more long-term plans. They are building a team for Xabi Alonso. They want the players to also grow with Xabi Alonso. Maybe how he's going to set up. I'll come to some of the things Xabi Alonso list to. He has to tackle, especially about the Club World Cup. These are things that he has to tackle. Right now, with a 3-back system, next season, if Rudiger is fit, he can play another season for Real Madrid. The experience is very, very needed. In fact, Inigo Martinez, he's getting all the accolades for Barcelona. Wasn't a player Nanka Barca for a long term because of the injury crisis. They needed someone with experience from the La Liga, someone could be with that short term. How experience, Kubasi this season he has been the better player or the best defender for Barca. But people are not saying Amanfo ain't down loud because he's grown and they believe that Pau Kubasi is the future. Right now, since he'll be part of their long-term project. If the enhancing and that two center backs, the plan is a combination 2 center backs because they believe that Eder Militao will return next season. Also, Alaba will also return next season. If the plan is that either they will buy 2 or 3 center backs this season. Right now, Ochake a midfielder. They have very good midfielders. In fact, Modric will not be part of any common long-term plan. Same as Abrante and Dani Ceballos. That midfield dynamo no more feels a bit to me. He's not living up to that expectation. Kamavinga and Aurelien Tchouameni, that double pivots under the 3-4 system. Coach Mbebono, they can fit in with Abrante and Fede Valverde. Will also fit in that 4 back. Right now, Ochake Madrid. Another target Alonso. Any reporting free Spain, especially Massa reporting is a left back. The most important signing Abrante Neshushe, which is Xabi Alonso. And the player list all he's been heavily linked. Alex Grimaldo of Bayern Leverkusen. To be very honest, Leverkusen for national issue because they are going to lose Jeremy Frimpong and Alex Grimaldo in the same summer transfer window, and also coach Xabi Alonso. So Alex Grimaldo, this is a player. When Alejandro Balde, April, people were hoping say on the ball in the absence of Alejandro Balde, but yet Spain coach, he believe in Abrante and Eddie Marco Correa. So also coming to Real Madrid, also earn him that leverage because if Balde is not there or bad and this Real Madrid team in terms of goals and assists, or the ball Alejandro Balde. So right now, Jeremy Frimpong is not linked to Real Madrid because they have Trent Alexander-Arnold, a player who is good, equally good like Jeremy Frimpong in terms of numbers, goals, assists, attack, passes to the final third, passes to the opposition box. They are a similar player. In fact, a world-class creative creative player or creative chances from deep, which is Abrante Alexander-Arnold. But there's another thing Alonso will also have to fix on Trent. Then I quite clear say when he's coming, or about the 3-4-2-1 system. And to be very honest, maybe with this Madrid team, without Ronald Florian-Wirtz, Ewo, Leverkusen set up. Madrid were 2 players. I believe that they can play and play well. You have a similar style or information when Jude Bellingham by Real Madrid or boy, a boy man a lot of goals. People were shouting that Ballon d'Or was when he was part of Real Madrid for front 3. That force na Ronaldo Obono. A boy so much. And Ochake Leverkusen at least all. So Bon is 3 center backs now. No about a year Granit Xhaka and 1 midfielder. Now I said these 2 midfielders will sit right in front of the 3 center backs. Into always be Jeremy Frimpong, Alex Grimaldo, Abrante and Florian Wirtz, Victor Boniface, and another winger. Players they have 5 players in attack. In terms of whenever the teams able low block, they will let 1 midfielder stay. Granit Xhaka will also join them. They will have 6 players up front. So right now, Ada Goulet, that role now, Florian Wirtz, he can play and play the well. Jude Bellingham can also play and play well. And in fact, without 2 midfielders, they can play Aurelien Tchouameni alongside Fede Valverde and I say Kamavinga. But yes, still they will have to sign 1 more midfielder, someone who is more like a passer. Obi obetimi about that long passes because since Toni Kroos got released, it is something they are missing, and Dani Ceballos is not giving them that. And they report in the chair say they need midfielders, and PSG John Neves, one of those players that they want to buy. It's going to be very difficult for them at this moment, especially when Alonso Obano. It might be very difficult for them to get that ideal number 8 passer now Betimenya Amana Abono. But then I believe that Chouameni, any Kamavinga, and Abranta and Fede Valverde for the short term, no, they can also do the dirty works. They garnish Shakamo for Zabia Alonso team, Leverkusen over the years or the past 2 years. Right now, in terms of attack, one thing is he has to make it right. If Kylian Mbappe is going to be the lead, he has to do the job. No individual, he has to do the job to help the team. And I say Vinicius Junior into always be analyst or on the front three, 4-3-4-2-1. So whoever will be the striker, the Obebo, a typical winger, and another player on here Obebo more like a number 10, more like a number 8. Into the one who Florian Beta, he's not a winger, he's a typical number 10 player, but Obono can there are 2 players are on best behind the striker. And at the Madrid setup, Kylian Mbappe can be the lone number 1 at the front there, and he can play Vinicius Junior, Jude Bellingham, or Abranta and Ding, Eddie Ada Goulet behind Kylian Mbappe. Provided one Florian Beta bar, it means that Jude Bellingham will go deep. Sending all ball Borussia Dortmund. So Listo, may I think that Alonso Obano, Madrid have the men. In fact, even if they are going to keep Ferland Mendy, not Alex Grimaldo or Bana Listo, they can still play Ferland Mendy as a left center back because there is one thing I'm out for doing Mbappe Mendy's Listo in terms of defending. Ferland Mendy are the best. But so when you compare these left backs on providing assist, Emma goes he won't give you that. But in terms of that defense stability, winning duels, his speed, everything, he can play that left center back position very well. Provided if Dani Carvajal back, he can give the energy, the strength. Xabi Alonso be here at any moment in time. Dani Carvajal can also play as the right center back. And in instances are Listo, Obo Mukiele as the right wing back, and Abranta and Jeremy Frimpong, can the front 3 or the front 2 behind the lone striker now all bottom several times. And Arnold beats my Sejuano severally. And on any other occasion, Arnold beats my Sejuano. Alex Grimaldo, apart from also the left wing back position, he was also joining Obon account the front 3 or the 2 behind the striker several times. So with the players of Madrid no, used to Kamavinga, Aurelien Tchouameni, elite footballers. But Omunya reach more potentials when Ombe joining Real Madrid team. But they've been winning they've won the Champions League, they've won the La Liga, and Untimi and Casentia their attributes and their individual brilliance are provided Madrid for the past 3 years. So with me, Listo, if Xabi Alonso is coming, the system, one of the main things at least also say, especially Arnold. And now Sobeka Mekai, Arnold will be key. So settling Arnold in Spain, idea say Alonso, it's me. He should avoid that Liverpool Merseyside drama. No, he arguably the best team in the history of football. So Buama Abranta Natina, and then to let Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius Junior knows that Massa, you are playing for Real Madrid. Team now Bono, Ronaldo, Zidane Mabo. We don't need any individualistic whatever in this team. A teamwork. So if Kylian Mbappe, you are playing the first 9, play and play it well. If Vinicius Junior, Jude Bellingham, if Florian Wirtz will join them, or Ada Goulet is playing that 2 players behind Kylian Mbappe, they have to make sure that they will play. Say Hendrick and Ebeba, they are making sure that Hendrick as the first 9 will be so crucial in how Xabi Alonso will set up the team. In the there are instances Listo, Xabi Alonso can play Hendrick, Vinicius Junior, and Kylian Mbappe, depending on the opponent. Because at that game, our creators, like Alex Grimado and Jude Trent Alexander-Arnold and one midfielder and Zubetman, that 3 players no, just give the ball and they will score. So with the kind of players on list, there will be a lot of tactical tweaks. There will be a lot of, man management. Right now the coaches, how they approach the game, according to their opponent. Uko kusheti mobile low blocker. It will be very difficult for you to start Hendrick, Vinicius Junior, any Kylian Mbappe. One and far ball in Konkomo. But with them, if you have Mbappe and even Kylian Vinicius Junior and Ada Gulea, at least you have a blend of pace, you have a blend of finishing, and you have a blend of creativity. Aside from Jude Bellingham, if he's going to be part of that 2 midfielders, and I say Trent Alexander-Arnold, Alex Grimado, or whoever was setting as the left wing back position, how they are going to create, also be so huge for Alonso. To me, Alonso ni ora, I don't think so be fumble. And this Madrid team list maybe the most difficult job in world football right now, because you have to you have to be able to control the egos of these top stars, of these Galacticos. I remember team, and I know that Alonso, a player, he can do that because he has won it all. The BN who are killing Mbappe beat him the actual Alonso. As a player, he played and won everything, and even as a coach, he's winning. So he has to be able to calm the egos and the individual performance. And I want to be there. No, I also to me a kiosk animal, and to help the new signings to settle in for the Real Madrid culture. And I believe that if they are able to right now report a master for anybody say Florentino Perez is ready to cash in. And you feel mobile someone free right now. They are ready to cash in for a center back, a left wing back. Right now, Arnold, and they are also trying to say they will get Trent Alexander-Arnold to start for them during the club World Cup. So it means that they have to pay over £800,000 to Liverpool if Trent will be part of a more club World Cup. So Alex Grimado, if Alex Grimado they will have to sign another left wing back who is going to be creative, who is going to create chances from deep, wide corner or best answer in defense. So with Liverpool, they are going to Real Madrid, they are going to make signings. A left wing back, assured. Up front, they might not be almost signing Obia CCA. And Rodrigo, clear so Rodrigo be free. That is, even if Rodrigo and free, there will be some circumstances Alonso will deem him very important. Almost set up and how he's going to, if the player already entourage in the team, they want the player to leave because they believe that he's not part of the future. Because Hendrick and the other players Madrid hierarchy holding them in high esteem for their next 10 to 15 years project or more. So I think that it's going to be very difficult for some of the players to get a nod. But if Eder Militao is coming and he's ball even to 80% of the level of boy,
of course, obviously, he will be fit.
Yes,
for next season.
Yes, but this one say especially players echo for almost a year with such knee injuries. The performance on more than the previous years, they might not be able to replicate that. So if Militao can do that, they will sign players, David Alaba, Rudy Gamo, Asensio, and maybe another few signings will also be players they can play in day out. And if apart from Dean Hosner, the plan is to get Konate and now William Saliba Mubako.
Okay. Well, so we share so now no obviously Obi and Hobekanye Rodrigo.
Yeah.
Players no more. So how much a blow is Dean Hosner? You him say the ball now. The coach needs somebody who can also pass from the back, like against Newcastle, for instance. You could clearly see that all the players wanted to pass the ball to Romeo Lavia because on a penny player, Obi to me, a BT press, and the Hossen also was attributing as a defender. Said if there is pressure and man marking like we saw, where he can do something. How much a blow is this move to Chelsea? Because it appears that na boy ni beka England, ko beka England kwa dia. Nanka Chelsea never sign because Chelsea obviously offer more money Or if you are competing with Liverpool and Arsenal, obviously Chelsea will get away with money.
I mean, it's going to be a huge blow. The last time maybe I did Hawson story, me catch you say defenders under the age of 21. I hope defenders are more complete, who can play, who can defend. Who put top 3 defenders are. I mean, his parts. In fact, there's a lot of stats, no, or the ball power kubasi be. So he's a player for the future. Everything be a pen. It's going to be a huge blow for Chelsea, but over Chelsea team now. You him say Levi Cole also it's me about that progressive passes, but the elite level no Andrew Dean Hudson there no who can or no person at even at some games wait my as a number 6 wait my invite about the number 6 role when one of the midfielders Ebeko anymore. So I think that's going to be a huge blow for Chelsea. But then if you're Chelsea so they are lining up a lot of players who have the same attribute like Abranton who can pass from the back, defend, and they are more former player our Crystal Palace Magui and so is it Gay? Sorry, Gay players now. Okay, and then there's another player, centre back, who is also one of the most exciting young centre backs in European football, Jaro Jato. Honestly, I can Edema Ayas.
Okay.
So if Chelsea are going to lose this player, it's going to be a huge blow. But I know that if they get any of Jato or Gay or any other defender or what these attributes like, I mean, one of these players, they can still do their projects. And also Madrid also needs that player to fix into more projects from here. It's going to be a huge blow for Chelsea, but then it's not over yet. Clear, no. Many Chelsea, like I said, right now Madrid so has a boy room. So what be presenting a better contract.
Obviously, there will not be.
Oh yes,
if Madrid comes in, obviously it's going.
Oh yes, because somebody many can or Spanish international, but then it's a Madrid commando contract via if they cannot guarantee him the starting spots, if they cannot guarantee him maybe some money uprising, I'm not sure he will go because this is a player playing for Bournemouth and he's still playing for the Spanish national team. So I think that is going to be a huge blow for Chelsea. But there are still several and good under 21 defenders are almost identical like Dean Hudson. And if Chelsea to me make it the right mover, they will get it's going to be a huge blow. But then a huge blow be for a Chelsea team now.
Okay. Right. Yeah, I'm sure and under 24 no and to me and qualify penalties. True penalties.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think with the performance under 24 from the tournament, a share tournament, they had a draw, they won their second game and won their third game, and they with penalties. Who said there a whole lot of conversation about that penalty at the Egyptian goalkeeper, 99 C line as well, and a whole lot of things. But I think we should give them their flowers. They've done well, going through a group stage, winning 2 games and drawing 1. They met a good team in Egypt. I name him say with a red card in Nyama, it sends the game to penalties. A penalty say 50-50 are there. But I've seen rumors going around say this is one of the worst under 20 teams. This Nyama be brave. But everyone because this is the same crop of players, or even 70% of crop of players we're happy about them playing in the with all African games or more than GMI. So I don't know why.
To be honest, all African games players, Akabe said
5 or 6.
But
5.
Still the head coach in the domain.
Yeah.
It's normal. In every national team, you wouldn't get the players coming in. But I don't like the fact say anytime we go to tournaments, especially with our youth football, no, we try to put pressure on coach in the performance in your Pamono. This is the West team. This is the West. Sometimes youth tournaments, the main idea of youth tournaments is just to win the competitions, but to get players you can improve them and send them to the highest way a friend is saying level a world or national team way. So sometimes you do baby in criticizing some of the players, and because me hear a lot of rumors about the coach should resign, the coach should say they are doing their best, winning 3 games in a competition. Even with our Black Stars, our top performing team with our Black Stars, how many games they are going to tournament? We won 2 games and drew 1 in a group we face. So they've done well. At least the next stage I qualify for the World Cup now. Buama Ghana, it's me but to me this is the time we encourage them and we set up a good team, making sure say omo under 20 maybe joining the under 23 or any they'll be playing with the under 20 team. We groom good players, and in the next tournament and in the next AFCON they will perform so well at the Ghana in Iowa, because we are looking at set of players how we can migrate them into the national team
now and I show game
what
to me I show games in any of the
games.
Which of the players now who say they are ready to start straight like 2009 Pokwajima straight or team now started Andrea you straight, Jonathan Mensah straight, Ajimambedu, Rabiu, Omunina Nya straight. Which of these players, Inkum, or which of these players now doing so which may a national team now?
List to add in here, boss, Inkum New say in that time, and no me address this issue. In that time, these players went on to win a tournament. There was one tournament a ball, I think Mirefi captain lead. It was under 20 or under 17, no number 6. I've forgotten the person's name. Metry Enya Saidin. He was a very good striker. Very, very good striker. But at the end, it's a tournament. To me, he was the best person to come in and study as Samoajan in Kenya. He would have had a good team in the Black Stars. But because of me and a tournament, we branded the whole squad in quote as failures. Senior Obo said the likes of Inkum, the likes of maybe you getting into the national team, it was based on say they won a competition and we feel said these were the players qualifying for the particular team. And most of the players are bombed and they came into the national team, but maybe starting 11, it took time. So sometimes we should look at this yes, you never have some beat me according to the World Cup. Because say ye countries are Omabwa Ghana, Omabwa Africa in this World Cup tournament, Ghana didn't count. But if we don't get into these competitions, we shouldn't be so hard on these players. We shouldn't be so hard on these coaches. Like they should do something extraordinary. Youth tournaments are based on grooming players, moving from stage to stage to stage. The time they do baby some time ago, you bought England under 17 team Mwana Musiela Kopama Noni Madueke Muom, and we were talking about them as Omegumi players to this level, and these players are playing those teams. But MBC who say time into that tournament they didn't perform well. As a man performing, where they bash on those players, they went through the system, made sure say they are benefiting. You don't need Madueke playing for under youth teams before getting into the England national team. So sometimes I think we rush so much in judging our team or judging our coaches on Inyamabi. Yes, it's a tournament. In tournament you go in, you perform well or you don't perform well. You need be as made. Say bia me perform ye be do baby nyama nko ye. It's either you are winning or you are not performing well. Yes, they didn't perform well. On paper, say who invested will be more. Performance wasn't good. But getting into the stretch of the game into penalties and they were eliminated by penalties in something I'm not expecting to see comment of rebashing the players and trying to make the players feel say we the senior national team or we can't make good use of any of them, and even the coach should.
Yeah, at this stage none of them need to start to a blasters. It's as simple as that.
No, I didn't
with all the games no mabono shows clearly say if this is our best, then we have problem as a country. If this is our best under 20 team, then we have a problem as
because this is the same team almost share the likes of Senegal ebebo mapaswa. This is the same crop of players share Senegal and the Oba African footballer about youth team from under 17 under 20 obi enu obe team no compare Senegal. The crop of players or Deba. So if this same team, it's matches Senegal.
Africa youth tournament, Senegal coming close to
Senegal we need the last youth tournament.
The last one on Wajana 20 World Cup da.
There be but
on 20 World Cup. Yeah, can youth Ghana Nigeria.
That was in
Ghana, Nigeria now.
Last time.
And at 17, I just a fool said. And at 20, a penny counter, they are judging. What I say? Oko Nigeria. 2 teams we no be any. Nti omo
in recent times.
In recent times.
Why now go in youth football ni ye?
Aha. Iti ye ye. So how niti ye how then do you say oh we are making this massive.
They want grow ni the any ye no. In the last 2 youth tournaments, no meti me akwaji, and they are putting up good performance. Vincent na habo player, Senegal player dinya Chelsea money we mudinechi and obot team their way. So if these people have been able to do their system well, not the same Black Stars team are here from the West under 20 team. It's me ko share these teams are. Edu baby, I think we are being so hard on our youth team. And no can be and until a good succession plan to the Black Stars. Because this group of players here I feel said they've not performed well. We wouldn't look at individuals and praise them and make sure say we can help them into the next maybe the under 23s or the Black Stars, but we'll try to wash all of them out because if they say they are not doing anything. Boss say we played the tournament, it was under 17. There was the captain, no number 6. He played so well in that tournament. I was expecting him to take him and make sure say Yebe Buana and I will groom him to the next level. Because the tournament, I think Omufimu group stages also, Omufimu quarterfinal. After that, those teams were wiped away.
But the coach who decided against calling these players player can answer me. You are saying say we shouldn't nobody should call for coaching resignation. But you are also saying say you saw player in under 17
under 17 Americano. It was back in around 2012 or 2011 as Americano. So we didn't have a good succession plan for these people. And fine, a tournament in Yaman. But if we have a good succession plan, we'll be able to groom players. Daniel didn't come about Banya Money, your friend is saying the rest. What is the succession plan? I had to say we want to depend on players.
Now where are they? Succession plan then.
Sometimes.
Where are they? Maybe our own mobile. Obey now about Blasters. And I mean no cause our team maybe or unattached. Only team. What I say? The fact say cause succession plan doesn't mean say uni team now tifie. Ye be dan fro. Yes. Majority of our team no e bit tifie.
Okay.
The brain tifie. Every year ban last time I was over Mazurich. Pictures no twitwa. E dey good social. Enti it is better you see Senegal for tournament we almost way free. But if you look at the profile of omo players no now we share omo team say omo under 17 team now omo the boy no omo an omo dey omo program and omo making sure say their selection no omo selection no is based on what talent no was so there will give you the opportunity. What I say yes about a particular team, how can you better say you under 20 team obi abon 4 years equal 5 years obi abon under 24 years equal 5 years obi about 3 years goalkeeper no what them almost 3 years it you know how many year ben and no and what you about joining under 20 team for that period no what have Vincent to asona fe
I think that Ochake no game na your boy na there are few players beyond I think that their progress have to be your national team at least to what check here you're under 17 you've won the World Cup but when was the last time I hit me call under 17 World Cup in recent times your youth football no aqua from Kakra, so it's a reflection of how the under 20 is performing now. And this same under 20 we saw how they managed to win the African games and also the Wafu. But let's do check team na the ball Wafu na. We check team na the ball Wafu na. Kakra bi ene amunya even selection to this team I know boy. Especially like the Wafu and the friendly games are any Benin and in Nigeria for the boy. Check the lineup. Almost few players been in a call up to that team. And even the African games are boys. So some few players been in selection to that team. Right now, I think that Fenyin Dennis, Lord Afrifa, and maybe Aziz hasn't been because Aziz even the Barcelona being Ukraine owns Aziz bad this tournament. He hasn't been the Aziz we know. Apart from go no share and no, he only share and have a very good tournament. KB and Kafina be who tournament and so Jerry free or beba no I mean player I mean it me them can say Jerry Cohen we shouldn't even have allowed him to come back because you see player abo match wako back to see the logo wako ball match go I provide the assist that after match now from I mean Spain back to Egypt so how we na emboa. So to me, I think that as of now, the current crop of players, Jerry is part of the Black Stars players. Some of them, I think, the next 3-4 years might be able to get into the Black Stars team. Lord Afrifa and Fenyin Dennis, and I think the left back nation number 7. These are experienced players, and I'm quite surprised that Mahu Heart of Lions for player no ewomu. Heart of Lions for some midfielder be young midfielder. BB Ado, Ishmael Ado, these two. That guy is very good, and I didn't see him even playing a single. I mean, the only game of a boy was Central African Republic game, and I think say or starts here about the full 90 minutes. But apart from that game, he didn't play any game out. So I think that the players, this tournament, to be very honest, we a game against Senegal, we a game against DR Congo, and we a game against Central African Republic. Games are boys not shut down compared to the previous tournament. So I think that this must be the West under 20 team in some time now, but most of them so over 19 and the next games we won't see these players anymore. Especially Osha game in Egypt boy. 2 mistakes and on the share, especially go now SL more on the share. Misunderstanding, miscommunication. And the mom share, and yet the second goal, but then brilliant goal from Aziz Issa Otimiya, and then the penalty. How Kamadin Suleiman and Yano, Timmy keeping the cool, the convert here. When you go into the penalty list, so a game now, you do the diamonds of the game. I don't much Egypt for the change here. I do a goalkeeper and the bum. Goalkeeper now by saves. No, he didn't start the game. That goalkeeper didn't start the game. I'm the free bench, and I'm the buy in a day. Saves and I mean we saw the saves when he came how intimidative he is. Players nearby are going to now so Ghana players and making complaints, but we didn't see Aseko doing that. And I know that Aseko is not the best goalkeeper in terms of penalty shootouts, and I know this. So I think that former Kotoko goalkeeper goalkeeper trainer here finishing kakra on a goalkeeper's coach on a so I think that we didn't plan very well because supposed to give me penalties. How the Egyptians penalties changing the goalkeeper, but it means that they had planned for this moment. And I think that they did their best not to qualify. So I think that that's one of people are saying but I won't be surprised because there's a team a coach to me in a group of Sudan, Niger, team qualify any Angola, team qualify to AFCON, but we still give the coach another chance. But maybe then say we have to do the youth football well. Is the FA even paying attention to the coast teams, to the third divisions in Ghana here? How are you brought up your players? Something that this tournament gave it to me the purely local boys at Kwakobo. And the FA Clinton Dodu, used to Clinton Dodu who know camp one. He didn't come. But yet, you drop some players from the Omombo Ghana Premier League Division 2, Division 1, a drop you a conference Clinton Dodu, but the club didn't allow him. So in such tournament like this, you have campy players, local players, some are camping for over 2 months. Some of the players who joined them from abroad, they were not even they were not even familiar with the team.
Okay. Yeah, share and also not young sorry. So.
Yes, inti ene odds kakra ewo 4 odds for the day. Jeruna ball game ene na smeko for second half 0.5 Elsa game. Real Sociedad any Saturday Vigo first half under 1.5 and Sunderland any Coventry full game 1.5 and Sevilla any Las Palmas Sevilla win. Code no 58 FY 58 FY MYBET.AFRICA.
Yes, the slate for the daily chop, 4 selected games and my year. The first game a Real Valladolid and Girona game over 1.5 goals in that game. Real Sociedad Celta Vigo game, double chance or win or draw for a year. Real Sociedad. Sunderland Coventry handicap 2 for Coventry, and then a Sevilla and Las Palmas handicap 2 for a Las Palmas. Score no a 2-8 FY 2-8 FY.
Okay, media na Shabab Al Ahly Dubai. Okwa we ne Al Nassr Dubai na ebo. Shabab Al Ahly Dubai win or draw. Haras El Hudud and National Bank of Egypt na ebo. Away or over 2.5. Zamalek and Pyramid over 1.5. Valladolid ni Girona over 1.5. Orlando Pirates and Lamontville Golden Arrows. Orlando Pirates win either half. Sevilla and Las Palmas over 1.5. Into way and odds for the day. Nyame aduma ochina so yebeba ochina La Liga games na start ochina dodo na best start na bibia so netumi ayede akoyi. Me din the list to what Vincent Cabernet is nga asaka na streaming show nyame aduma ocha be share akra